2, 1.
Have you ever prayed for something and then when it finally shows up, you froze? Not because you didn't want it, but because somehow it felt terrifying? Have you ever found yourself standing in front of the very thing you've been asking God for, only to realize you're the one holding yourself back? If that's you, can I just tell you you're not alone? Because that's exactly where I am today. Welcome back, my beautiful souls, to Becoming with Erika, a place where we heal out loud, grow through what tried to break us, and become everything God created us to be. If this is your first time here, hi, I am your host, Erika Caballero, and welcome. I am so grateful you're here. My beautiful souls, for almost 40 years, I've been the person proving everyone wrong. I'll work harder. I'll show you. I'll survive. I'll figure it out. I'll carry everything by myself. That became my identity. For years, I thought my strength came from doing everything alone, from proving I didn't need anyone, from carrying the weight by myself. Then something changed. God brought people into my life who don't compete with my dreams, they protect them. Ryan, my partner, believes in me sometimes more than I believe in myself. He doesn't laugh at my crazy ideas. He doesn't tell me they're unrealistic. He simply asks, how do we make it happen? Then there's my friend and mentor, Alex, who practically grabs my hand and says, come on, let's build this. Neither of them make me earn their support. They simply give it to me. They believe in me. They encourage me. They remind me what's possible when I start doubting myself. And what shocked me wasn't that I finally had support. It was what happened inside of me. I froze. Not because I don't want the dream, not because I don't believe it's possible, but because somewhere deep inside my brain still doesn't know what to do with being fully supported. And maybe that's where you are too. You know, one of my favorite things to do with you is this. Let's nerd out for a minute. One of your brain's most fundamental job is to keep you alive. Not to make you successful, not to make you wealthy, not to make your dreams come true, just to keep you alive. And it does that using the evidence you've given it about what kept you safe before. Your nervous system has spent years learning. I have to do everything alone. I have to prove myself. People leave, people judge, success creates pressure. Then, bam, then support comes along and it can feel unfamiliar. And here's the crazy part your brain treats unfamiliarity. Oh my God. Why am I struggling with words? Your brain can treat unfamiliar things as a potential danger. Not because they're actually dangerous, but simply because they're new. So remember this equation. Unfamiliar can equal a potential threat. And familiarity, whether it's good or bad, can feel safe. Let me expand that thought. The amygdala, the brain alarm system, our little high alert security guard, doesn't necessarily stop and ask, is this good for you? It asks, have we survived this before? And if the answer is no, it sounds out the alarm. Warning, warning, potential threat up ahead. That's why opportunity can create anxiety. That's why healthy love can feel uncomfortable. That's why peace can feel boring. And that's why success can sometimes feel unsafe. Your body may not be saying, don't do it. It may simply be saying, I've never been here before. And that unfamiliar feeling is actually what spiraled me into my own self-doubt. If I'm being completely honest with you today, I think that's where I am. I'm no longer only trying to survive, I'm trying to become, and becoming requires a different identity. The woman who spent her life proving herself doesn't always know what to do when she is already believed in. The woman who learned how to carry everything alone doesn't automatically know how to receive support. The woman who had fought to be seen doesn't always know how to stand still and allow herself to be valued. This isn't weakness, it's rewiring. And because I know what I know about the brain, I started to create new neural pathways. I start looking for new evidence. I start studying myself. I pay attention to what is happening inside of me. I notice fear. I notice freeze. I notice the thought that starts whispering, what if you're already, what if you're not ready? What if you fail? What if everyone believes in you and you let them down? And then I try to speak back to those old pathways. I try to nature. Oh my god! I try to to. Oh my god! Why am I having a brain freeze? What is the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? I try to. It's not nature. Neutral. I try to nurture. Oh my god! That was really hard for me. I try to nurture the part of me that learned to survive. I don't know what's going on this morning, but like I am struggling with I can see my words and I can't bring them out correctly. And maybe it's because this subject for me is very nerve-wracking because it's forcing me to be upfront, honest, and true to myself while introducing. So I try to nurture the part of me that learned survival while introducing her to this new way of living. I try to tell her, I hear you. I understand why you're scared. You helped protect me for a very long time, but we are not there anymore. We are supported now. We are allowed to receive help. We are allowed to believe, to be believed in. We are allowed to walk towards the dream without proving that we can suffer for it first. But honestly, even knowing all this, I still find myself struggling. And I think that matters to say out loud. I find myself struggling. The struggle is real because sometimes we believe that once we understand our patterns, they should immediately disappear. But awareness doesn't erase the old pathway overnight. Understanding why you freeze doesn't mean you'll never freeze again. Healing doesn't always look like fear disappearing. Sometimes healing looks like noticing the fear sooner. Sometimes it looks like pausing before you run. Sometimes it looks like allowing someone to stand beside you instead of pushing them away. And sometimes rewiring looks like taking one step towards the dream. While your nervous system is still whispering, this is new. Because new doesn't always mean dangerous. Sometimes new means answered prayers. Sometimes new means growth. Sometimes new means God is finally leading you into a life that that your survivor mode brain has never experienced before. I keep thinking about Moses. God told him, I'm sending you. And Moses immediately began listing every reason he believed he couldn't do it. Who am I? What if they don't believe in me? What if I don't know what to say? Please send someone else. Not because Moses didn't love God, not because he didn't want to obey, but because the assignment was bigger than the identity he carried at that moment. Moses saw all his limitations. God saw who Moses could become. And every time Moses focused on what he lacked, God reminded him of what mattered most. I will be with you. Sometimes God doesn't remove the fear before He gives us the assignment. Sometimes He gives us His patience. Sometimes He gives us evidence. And sometimes He changes who is walking beside us. Maybe that's one of the reasons God gives us people. Maybe the support we keep questioning is actually one of His miracles. And I know God has been guiding me throughout my life, sometimes through places, sometimes through people, sometimes through events, and sometimes through circumstances I didn't understand until much later. But I'm being honest. There were many times when I chose not to listen. I resisted the inner feeling that whispered, "This doesn't feel right. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Pay attention. Sometimes some things need to change." I resisted it because listening would have required me to step away from what was familiar. And even when familiar was painful, it still felt safer than the unknown. That's the part I'm beginning to understand now. Sometimes we don't ignore guidance because we can't hear it. Sometimes we ignore it because following it will lead us somewhere our nervous system has never been before. And it makes me wonder, how many of us are still living as though we're unsupported? Even after God has surrounded us with people who believe in us, how many opportunities have we delayed because our nervous system still thinks we're alone? How many dreams are we waiting? Not for us to become more talented, but for our brain to finally believe that it's safe to receive help. If you're freezing today, ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? Is it failure or is it success? Am I afraid of losing something or am I afraid of becoming someone I've never been before? Because sometimes the next version of you doesn't need more confidence. She needs more evidence that she is safe, safe to try, safe to receive, safe to be supported, safe to succeed. And I know that for myself, I can become frustrated with my fear. I ask myself, why am I so afraid? Why am I pushing back? Isn't that what I wanted? Is it normal to feel this way? But when I keep digging, the questions begin to shift and not always in the direction I was hoping they'd go. I mean, I start to ask, am I deserving of this? Am I really worthy? Like, am I really worth it? What if they're using me? What could I possibly provide for them? Why do they believe in me? What if they see something in me that I can't live up to? Remember, I've told you before, I am an overthinker. And overthinkers don't always stop after asking one question. We investigate it, we challenge it, we replay it, we create 10 possible outcomes, then create another 10 just in case we miss something. And before we knew it, one fear one fearful thought has turned into an entire courtroom inside our mind. The opportunity is on trial. The people supporting us are on trial. Their motives are on trial. And somehow we end up putting our own worth on trial too. But I'm learning that not every thought deserves to become evidence. Just because my brain asks, why would they believe in you, doesn't mean the answer is they shouldn't. Maybe they believe in me because they can see the work I've already done. Maybe they see the way I keep showing up. Maybe they see gifts in me that I still learning to learn how to recognize. Maybe their support isn't proof that they want something from me. Maybe it's proof that I no longer have to do everything alone. And maybe the questions isn't why do they believe in me? Maybe the question is, when will I finally allow myself to believe them? For 40 years, I believed my strength came from doing everything by myself, and maybe real strength isn't carrying everything alone. Maybe real strength is having the courage to let the people who love you help carry the dream. And here's the beautiful part of it all: your brain is capable of change. You're capable of change. Your life is capable of change. And if we're being completely honest, I'm speaking out loud to myself right now. I am capable of change. I am capable of learning how to receive support. I am capable of walking towards the life I prayed for. I am capable of becoming the woman God already knows I can be. So today, I'm making a promise. Not that I won't be scared, not that I'll never freeze again, not that every step will suddenly feel easy. I promise that I will no longer confuse fear with God's direction. Because fear may be loud, but that doesn't mean it's leading. And if God sends the vision, I believe He will also send the people. And maybe He already has. Maybe the next step is finding more people. Maybe the next step isn't finding more people. Maybe the next step is trusting the people who are already standing beside me. Maybe it's believing them when they say, I see you. I believe in you. You don't have to do this alone. Maybe next step is simply allowing myself to believe that I don't have to build this empire alone, because becoming was never meant to be a solo journey. So here's my challenge for you. And honestly, this challenge is for me too. Think about the dream you've been sitting on, the idea you keep thinking about, the opportunity you keep delaying, the next step you already know you need to take. Now ask yourself, what would I do next if I truly believed I was worthy of the dream? What would I do if I believed I was safe to be supported? What would I do if I stopped trying to prove that I could do everything alone? Then take one step. Not the whole staircase, not the entire plan, just one step. Send the message, make the phone call, write the first page, post the video, accept the help, have the conversation, say yes to the opportunity. Let somebody support you. And when the fear shows up, because probably will, don't shame yourself. Place your hand over your heart and remind yourself, this feels unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. I'm allowed to receive support. I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to pursue the vision God placed inside me. I do not have to suffer to prove that I deserve success. I do not have to earn love by carrying everything alone. I am worthy of the dream. I am worthy of the help. I am worthy of becoming. And my beautiful souls, I'm not asking you to do something that I'm unwilling to do myself. So I'm taking my step too. I'm going to stop only talking about the idea that scares me and begin giving it somewhere to live. I'm going to let people who believe in me stand beside me. I'm going to collect new evidence, evidence that I can be supported without being controlled, evidence that I can receive without owing away pieces of myself, evidence that success has to cost me my peace, evidence that success doesn't have to cost me my peace. Evidence that I don't have to build everything alone. And evidence that the woman I'm becoming is worthy of the life she has been praying for. So this week, take your one step. And when you do, come back and tell me, I chose my dream. Because I'm choosing mine too. So remember, my beautiful souls, I love you. God loves you. Keep healing, keep growing, and keep becoming. I'll see you in the next episode of Becoming with Erika. Thank you, and God bless.